everyone, and welcome to The Path to Reason with this brand new intro thanks to Wes Sturdivant. So, Wes, thank you very, very much. It's a great intro. So, hi, everyone, and I hope you're doing great. I know that for some reason, a lot of atheist content creators right now are struggling with mental health. So I decided to talk about this topic I had in mind for a few weeks now, and so this topic today is about how to talk about the struggles we face when someone asks how are you going, what's going on, what's your problem right now, and so it's a very very difficult question to answer because you can find yourself in more or less three different situations. First one is you have time and you want to talk with that person and you can explain everything that's going on, because usually it's not one specific problem, it's several problems at the same time. So it takes a while to explain all the situation, explain all the problems and their consequences, um, and sometimes you don't have that time, that luxury to explain everything. So explaining everything is not always an option. Then you have the option to just say, just explain part of the problem, and that also has problems because you can understand the situation. You can't understand a situation in entirely, only well, unless you have all the elements. And if you explain someone what's going on with you and only give a partial answer, then they won't understand the problem sometimes. So giving a partial answer may be the ideal situation when the person knows you and they know what you've been going through earlier and they know you well. But most of the time, partial answer as are not satisfying for both sides, because usually we want to talk about all this. We want to talk about what's going on. We want to evacuate all that, and we want to well, we hope that talking about it will help. But talking only about one specific aspect of the problem, it doesn't help. And then there's the last situation where you just don't say anything, either because you don't know the person well enough, or you don't have time, or you don't want to, or there can be several reasons. But this also has problems because the other person may get the wrong idea. For example, you don't have time and they will believe that you just don't want to talk about it. And that's also a problem because it puts you and the other person in a place where your expectations are different. You would like to talk about it maybe later, and they believe that you won't. And so all those situations are problematic. And the purpose of this video is to help people around us, people around people who are struggling with depression or any mental health issue, to maybe to communicate a little bit better. So we can start with explaining that either we don't want to talk about it, or we don't have time, or it takes too long. and this way we don't frustrate other people. This is very important because you have to communicate your current situation, and if you don't make it clear, people will make assumptions, and sometimes they will be wrong, and you won't be able to get some help, maybe that you want. Another problem is that the people around you, they sometimes they want to help, but they don't know how. And if you don't communicate how they can help you, then they don't know how. Another issue for the person who is struggling is that sometimes you don't know if you should explain your issues, because you don't know if the person will be receptive. You don't know how they will react, if they will care, or if they won't. But even though it's someone you know and someone you know will care, sometimes, and it happened to me a few days ago, you are talking with someone you trust, with someone you love, and you know they are in a very great place at the moment. They're happy, and you don't want to bring them down with your issues, so you don't say anything. And that's not necessarily the good thing. I don't know if there is a good thing to decide in this situation, but it's hard for both sides. On one hand, you have people struggling, but they don't know if they will be listened to. They don't know if they will bring down people. We don't know if the problems we face will be understood. And on the other side, you have sometimes people who don't know exactly what depression is, or other mental issues. They don't know how to help, or they just don't care. And that brings me to something I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while, and it's specific to depression. It's this problem that the word depression has been used for a few decades, meaning that you are just sad for a little while, like several days, couple weeks. And the problem is that what helps for those people doesn't really help for people who are suffering depression as a mental illness, because the real thing is caused or associated with a chemical imbalance in the brain. And so you cannot just start thinking more positively and get rid of depression. That's not how it works. However, when people are just sad, or they lost someone, or they're going through a rough time, I don't necessarily mean that those people don't suffer depression, but sometimes, and many times, they are just sad and they call that depression, and that mixes the signals and the way we can treat actually depression. Because the worst thing you can do to someone who is really suffering of depression is you need to see things more positively. You need to cheer up. This kind of answer is probably the worst thing you can say to someone who has a real depression, because first of all, it says, even though you don't necessarily mean it, but it says that people are not already trying to get better. If you say, oh, you just need to think more positively, it means that, yeah, you haven't tried that yet. And that's not something you want to a message you want to pass, because struggling with depression, especially the worst cases of depression, it's very, very, very hard. And every day is a struggle. Every day you have to make enormous efforts to go to work, to go see friends, to socialize, to not stay in your bubble, because that's not the way you can get better. But saying that you even unconsciously think that they're not doing these efforts, that hurts a lot sometimes. So this answer also says that when you say you just need to be more positive, it it makes depression something benign, when very often it's not. The reason why a lot of depressions are treated with medication, it's because this chemical imbalance that we suffer from, for now, the only way to rebalance it is with medication, because we still don't know what causes this chemical imbalance. Is it depression that causes it, or is it the chemical imbalance that triggers depression? That we don't know yet. I know it's studied at the moment because it's also linked to consciousness, how our state of mind affects the brain, and how the brain affects our mind. That's a very interesting topic of research, but we know close to nothing in there. So that's why we still don't know anything about the link between which is the cause and which is the effect, or maybe they are both effects of another cause. We don't know, and we're still searching. But please, never, ever say to someone who's suffering from depression, just think more positively. You're always seeing the wrong sides of things, or this kind of talk is sometimes very damaging to the person. So never say that. So now that I've talked about this issue, I wanted to talk about myself, because recently I've been going through myself a rough time, and some people have asked how can I help. And as I said earlier, the only way people can help, or realize that they cannot help, is by explaining the entire situation. So if you don't want to hear about me talking about myself, you can stop the video now. But if you're interested, I'm going to try and explain my entire situation and why I am where I'm here today. So please bear with me, because it's going to be probably quite a long story. So it's not a secret that my childhood was not really happy. I suffered from physical and mental abuse by my parents until I was 16, and I left home. And that already in itself has a lot of consequences. If you look at what the research says at the moment, basically it says that childhood emotional neglect can manifest as having the tendency to bury our emotions. That I do a lot, and we'll see that later. Choosing not to rely on others. I'm guilty of that too. Being scared of, hesitant to ask for help. I guess that was my case for a while, but I don't think it's still the case now. Um, no, I don't think so. Uh, Often judging ourselves harshly, yes. That those who know me know that I'm a very very intransigent towards myself, much more than towards other people. Struggle with self compassion. It's basically the same thing. Um, Directing our anger, blame, and disappointment inwards. Um, I don't know. I don't think that I have this problem. To be honest, feeling guilt or shame about our needs. Sometimes it happens. Yes. Being extra sensitive to rejection. That I am. Yes. Struggling with feeling deeply flawed or broken. Yes. Getting easily overwhelmed or discourages. I could say yes. Striving for perfectionism, yes, as well. And having a difficult time regulating or expressing emotions. Again, I did have this problem for a long time, but I'm getting much better at it at the moment. We and that's for emotional neglect. We know that physical abuse has other consequences like higher rate of depression, higher rate of suicide, difficulty to build connections with other people, difficulty to make friends, difficulty to feel part of something with other people. And so that's basically what I started with. And because of that abuse, I uh, I used to feel very lonely when I was a child. I have four younger brothers. They're not from the same father as I am, but they never did any difference, and I didn't either. They were and they still are my brothers, but I still felt isolated and lonely. Maybe because the violence was only directed to me at the time. Maybe for other reasons, I don't know. Then there's the fact that as a transgender, I had to hide who I was to everyone, and that doesn't help with building confidence and close relationship with people either. Even as a child, and there's also the fact that already as a child I was different from other people in the way I think. I was already pretty logical and rational. And most of uh, the games other kids were playing at, they didn't interest me. I was always reading. And this shift between me and other people, it just grew with time as I grew up. And the only way where and the only moment where I felt like I was surrounded by like-minded people is when I joined this forum I talked about a couple of times. It's called rationalskepticism.org, and that's where I got introduced to rationalism, skepticism, religion, and all that. And I learned pretty much everything I know today in this area from the people I met over there. So yeah, for forever, as far as I can remember, I felt very very much alone, and that tends to to make things harder to solve, because we are social species, and when we interact with other people, we tend to feel better. And so, whenever you're struggling with something, if you have the possibility to meet people, then the struggle is made easier. But if you don't have this, because you feel always lonely and you have trouble connecting with people, then you don't have this help to get out of the situation. um, we talked about burying our emotions earlier, and I had to learn this pretty young, because my mother gave me this temper she had. She never had any humor, and she was getting angry just like that and most of the time for nothing. and and she transmitted me this as I was a child. I was always angry when someone made fun of me, even if it wasn't, if it was just for fun, just to play. I i didn't know how to react besides anger. And one day I scared myself because of that, because I took one of my brothers and hit it under against the wall, and I was just screaming things at him, and I had a black veil in front of my eyes. I didn't even see him, and after that, I thought that I needed to bury that, because that was dangerous uh, to me, but more importantly to people around me. So I started trying to bury it, and it worked. I mean, after I would say around 2021, I had managed to bury it in a way that it never came out again. I mean, since then, I never got angry like I was when I was a child. I also learned to laugh about myself, because if humor is important, but being able to laugh about yourself is also very, very important. Um, so I'd like to make a pause and say hi to the people in the chat. So consider this hi, and thanks for your compliment. And Purple Rhymes, hello again. Good to see you here. So when I was 16, I decided to leave home, because it was a matter of life or death for me, I guess. At the time, I had to go out, and so I joined this military school. And for the first 3 years, it was almost worse than with my family, because so I was just going out from this situation where I was under my mother's control all the time. I just couldn't almost think by myself. I couldn't act by myself. I had to do everything she wanted to. And so the transition to the army, where during the first years, the training, you are everyone, your platoon and you are always doing everything together. And I didn't know how to deal with this, and I don't drink alcohol, I don't go to nightclubs. So because of that, I was put aside very, very, very fast. And for 3 years, I was completely alone in the middle of 25 people, and only three, maybe four people talked to me. And on top of that, there were two of them who kept giving me racist insults, because They thought I was North African because in France, the racism, most of the racism is targeted at North African people. In the U.S., it's mostly Mexicans. Funnily enough, south of the country, and France have the same problem. It's Moroccans, it's Algerians, Tunisians, all those people. They suffer from racism in France, and France has a long history with those countries, especially Algeria and the war we made there, and the exactions we committed in this country. So there's a lot of love-hate relationships between those countries. And so for 3 years, I had to suffer racist insult all the time, and of course that didn't help. But then after I joined my first regiment, things started to get a little bit better because I was an NCO, and so my work and my behavior started to speak for myself, and then that that helped a lot, helping me connect with other people. Hi, Mindy, how are you doing? Nice to see you here. Um, so during this, let's say, young adult period from the 20s to 30s, I was very, very unlucky with my love stories. Almost every time I fell in love, the feelings were not mutual. And the problem is I tended to hope too much too soon. When I have the slight hope or the slight feeling that maybe they were feeling the same, then I was starting to hope that's it. I'm finally no longer single, and every time when you have high hopes and they're broken, then the disappointment is equally higher. So so at some point I started to think that I needed to bury those feelings again until I was sure that they were shared. And so I started doing this, and it worked again very well. Like, looks like I'm very, very good at this. Um, but it caused me a big problem, and we'll see that in a minute. So in 2015, I think, January 2015, my mother announced me that I had a sister, and and that was a shock for me at the time because I had no idea. Because my progenitor had he married another woman after my mother, and he had a child with her. And this young woman, when she was 11, she saw a picture of her father with another child than herself, and she started asking questions, and everybody knew except for her, and so she didn't like that, and she wanted a brother a lot, and I wanted a sister a lot as well, because I have, like I said, four younger brothers. And I remember when my mother came back with the results for the last one, I desperately wanted it to be a sister, but it wasn't. So I was very disappointed that day, I remember. And so when I learned that I finally had a sister, I was so happy. And then we met, and it was great. And I was again extraordinarily happy about that, and the first month were great. But then she got pregnant, and when her child was born, all her family on the father's side came along, and when she had to tell them that she had a brother and this brother was going to be a sister soon, she caved, and she just stopped speaking to me overnight, with no explanation, nothing. And so, as you can imagine, this hurt a lot, and that's where my issues really started, because after that my subconscious decided that every time I had some positive feeling, like love for a woman, for a sister, or anything positive, that led me to suffering afterwards. So my subconscious decided to bury any positive feeling that I might have. And um, and because of that, I at some point I started feeling very, very demotivated, and I didn't understand why. So I went to a therapist that was specialized in cognitive behavior therapy, because it's the most science-based method to help people in on the psychological side. And so after a few discussions, we realized what was happening. This systemic burying of any positive feeling. We are pleasure-based creatures. We need to feel pleasure of doing things if we want to do them, because if we don't, then the motivation to do them declines. So if you don't feel anything positive feeling, then you don't feel pleasure doing anything, and so your motivation to do anything drops. And so she gave me some ways to deal with this. So keep trying to make connection with people, keep trying to do the things that you liked and that brought you pleasure before that. Make changes in your life every once in a while. And she told me, if you do this, normally the pleasure should come back at some point. That was in 2016, and 5 years later, we're still there with the same problem. And so after that therapist, I saw 3 other ones, and all of them, after let's say 5-6 therapies, they told me, I'm sorry, I can't help you because you're doing everything you are supposed to do to get better, but you don't get better. So I can't help you more than this. And that's very very frustrating when the people who are supposed to be able to help you just can't. And also, almost at the same time, I started the transition. Well, I started taking the hormones in 2013, but the surgeries started in 2018, and it didn't go well at all. I suffered a lot physically, mentally. I had money issues. I had administrative issues. Like, it took friends 2 years and a half to change my ID card and my passport. Just the change of the first name and the gender on the papers. 2 years and a half. Um, and so when you add all this, and what happened also in February this year, I was last year I started a process to have a child, um, and in February I learned that I had almost no chance to finish this process, and that just broke me because I I decided to start the transition only at the condition that I would keep the possibility to have a child. So I went to fertility clinic here in Belgium, and I saved a sperm sample here, and the idea was to be able to reuse it afterwards. And so the only thing they told me at the time was, you need to come, well, you need to have Belgian nationality if you want to use it, because with the current law status in France, you won't be able to use it. So, and the law is like this in Belgium, you need to be Belgian. So you have to come and live here and apply for citizenship. So then I moved to Belgium for the job, and I've been here since 2016. And so last year, when I decided to start the process, I went back there, and so they started reviewing my case. And in February, they told me that now you need to come with someone from your family that will be the surrogate mother, because in Belgium the law doesn't prevent but doesn't allow surrogacy. So if the mother decides to keep the child, then there's no legal recourse against that. So you need to come with someone you absolutely trust to make sure it doesn't happen. But this person, this surrogate mother, needs to be Belgian, or at least live in Belgium. And that was in total contradiction with the first information, because I had to come here and I wasn't going to bring my family, of course. But now I need to bring someone from my family who lives here to be able to do the procedure. Um, so that was the last straw, and it just broke me. So that's my current situation. This depression that prevents me from feeling anything positive. This struggle to have a child, and luckily for me, I have a good job. Doesn't pay enough for me to afford the surrogacy procedure in Canada, but I still don't have this issue that transgender often have, to pay for the surgeries and everything that goes along with it. Um, but yeah, now you can understand why I'm in this situation right now, and why it takes so long to get better. Because this surrogacy thing happened on the 7th of February, and it's now end of August, and it's still very hard. Although in the last couple of weeks, I've seen a very slight improvement. Uh, but yeah, it takes forever. It takes a lot of medication. It takes, and all that is it takes a lot of my energy. I don't have the strength to cook food for myself, to clean the house. It's beyond my strength at the moment, and has been since February. And so, what I was talking about earlier is I lost one of my very, very dear friends, she cut ties with me because she kept saying that I needed to be more positive, and I tried to explain her that that not only that wasn't the solution to my situation, but also it was hurting me, and she didn't want to understand it, so she decided to go away. And lately I've seen a lot, as I said earlier, a lot of the atheist content creators struggling with mental health issues, and I'm trying to ask myself if it's something environmental, like all these discussions we have, these debates we have, these confrontations we have. I'm wondering if it's not starting taking a toll on us, and maybe we need to regroup and I don't know, do something together and help each other, even though we are uh, thousands of kilometers apart. But we need to find a way to help each other, because I know that the medical side, and especially the mental medical side on the US is very bad. Um, so yeah, I think we need to get together more, um, because as I said earlier, this connection with other people, that helps a lot when we have uh, this kind of depressions. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Um, Thanks everyone for listening. I hope this won't bring you down too much. I hope you will be able to show this video to people who are struggling, and show them, look, even though you are struggling, you can still try to find solutions. You can try different things, because you can be the smartest person on earth. You won't always have the answers to your internal problems. You always at some point need an external point of view to all this. So try to find help, even though if it's just talking to someone who is available to listen, and try to make connections with people. And if that doesn't work, try therapists, try any local associations you would have, try try everything, because again, we are a social species, and we need each other. I know that at the moment it seems hard, especially in the US, because the country is so much divided that going to meet other people outside our initial circle is risky. It's sometimes painful, uh, but yeah, we still have to try. So again, thanks for everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here. Um, Consider this says, thank you, Cindy. We are not alone. In the United States, one could contact NAMI for guidance to local support. I know there's also a website, I don't remember the name, that can help you find a therapist very quickly, and one um, that corresponds to your need. Um, I don't remember the name, but if you know the woman YouTuber Julie Nolke, the woman who became famous by doing those videos where she talks about her talks with her past self about the pandemic. She advertised sometimes about this website, so go see her videos. She's funny and she's adorable. And yeah, she has this website you can find. Yes, I love her too. She's amazing. So thanks again. If you like my video, my channel, please like and subscribe. Please share it also to everyone who you think needs it. And I can't promise you I will be here next Friday, but I try. And in the meantime, I wish you a very nice weekend. Goodbye, everyone.